McIntyre is like 70 now.
Okay,
Oh, I don't know.
everyone all set? Because we are on the air now. So I'll call the Londonderry Planning Board meeting to order for December 6, 2023. And time marches on. Here it is, December already, and holiday wishes to everyone. Hope the season is good, enjoyable, and bright. I'd like to point out for everyone who is here, this room has two exits. Are on the right-hand side of the audience. That's this side right here for the audience, the front of the room, and the back of the room. If we have to evacuate for any reason, we ask you to proceed through the exit closest to you, go outside, move away from the building, and don't come back into our fire officials have instructed us to do so. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise and pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have a full complement of regular members tonight, so I don't need to appoint any alternates. We have two ex officios here. That gives us 8 voting members, and that is more than a quorum, so we can proceed with planning board business. We do have an item that we're going to have to leave the room for a little bit, and that is for a non-public session. And we'll be going into non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, small l, consideration of legal advice provided by
Chair?
legal counsel.
Sorry, it's actually number 2, small l.
Number 2, small l, okay, because in the, I got Roman numeral 2 here, so.
Okay.
I think that's my water.
This is some of the statutes of the state of New Hampshire. But it's for consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. So what we'll need to do is a motion and a second, and then vote by roll call.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Al for non-public, second by Jake. I'll start with Ann. It's just like, say your, say your name, and we'll go right down the whole board and everything.
I, Ann Champa.
I, Jeff Penta.
Lynn?
I, Lynn Wiles.
I, Arthur Rugg.
Aye, Ellen Sypek.
I, Jake Butler.
Your alternates, but Ted
I, Ted Combs.
and,
Hi, Bruce Hollowell.
okay. So we will adjourn next door for our non-public. We will be, we'll be back. We'll not leave you all sitting here.
I, Ted Combs.
Jake?
I, Jake Butler.
I, Alan Sipek.
Hi, Arthur Rugg.
Aye, Lynn Wiles.
I, Jeff Penta.
I, Ann Champa. Excuse me.
Okay, we're back in public session. And tonight, we have administrative board work, we have minutes to approve, we have an extension requests, and Jake is going to have some input for us on quasi judicial land use boards. We have 6 continuances and 1 public hearing for a site plan amendment. And then we have 1, 2, 3 items for zoning amendments, and those are public hearings also. So what we'll do is go to approval of minutes, November 1st, 2023. Is there any problem with those minutes?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Al made a motion to approve the
Second.
minutes, November 1st.
Did,
Jake, second. Any discussion?
yes,
Yeah.
on, let's see now, page 2, line number 61 and 62, it says, member, with member A. Champa abstaining, I did not abstain, I voted yes on that item, so I'd like to,
So it would be, the motion was granted 7-0-0. The chair voted in the affirmative. Correct?
That would be,
if it wasn't somebody else who voted, who abstained. I don't know if it was 7-0-0 or somebody, they caught somebody else abstaining and not me. So I would suspect it was 7-0-0,
Yeah.
but,
I
I'm
don't
not
recall
sure.
anyone else.
but I just
abstaining.
know I didn't abstain.
I guess
October 11th, did anybody abstain? No. Perfect.
No.
Yep, that answers it. So the minutes will reflect that Ann's comment there. And this is the motion maker and second approve of the change?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so those, a quick way of amending the minutes. So all those in favor of the amended minutes of November 1st, 2023 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those, Ted abstains, any noes
I
on that?
abstain as well.
Okay, one, Bruce and Ted abstain on this.
Kelly, quick question on those. So I would not be signing this because I expect that I'll get an updated one, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. And chair votes affirmative, motion carries. The minutes of November 1st, 2023 are approved. Okay, November 8th,
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for approval.
Second?
motion by Al, second by Jake, for the approval of the minutes of November 8th, 2023. A discussion? You had a thing, Tony, I think.
I have, on November 8th, I have a change at line 212, 212. It reads, "Town to collect revenue on these parcels which could possibly help with," it makes it harder for the town to collect revenue on these parcels which could possibly help with the tax rate. It's, what I said was exactly opposite than that. The correction would be, on 212, town to collect revenue on these parcels, period. Then this change, strike which, could possibly help with, could increase revenue, which could help with the tax rate. That's how that line should read, based on what I said after watching the video twice. Everybody
Okay,
understand what just
Yes.
happened?
yep.
All set.
You're all set with it, Kelly? Okay.
Thank you.
I approve the amendment.
I
Okay.
agree, sir.
Okay, so we have amended motion for November 8th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions?
Abstain.
And Ted and Bruce abstain. And Jeff. And the chair votes affirmative, and the minutes of November 8th, 2023 are approved. Regional impact determinations. Kelly, I think we have one.
Yes, we have one, Mr. Chair. It's for the Orchard Christian Fellowship application for this evening. The property is located at 136 Pillsbury Road, map 6, lot 18-2, zoned AR1. And staff is recommending it is not a development of regional impact.
Okay, that is the playground, which will be in public hearing shortly.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that this does not meet the standard for regional impact.
Second?
Motion by Al, and second by Jake, not regional impact, reaching that threshold. So, any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Abstentions, chair was affirmative, and the playground at Orchard Christian Church is not a regional impact. We have an extension request, I believe. Kelly?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have an extension request for the Alta Woodmont site plan. They're requesting a 60-day extension, which brings us to February 17th, 2024.
Okay. If no questions, I'll take a motion.
So move, Mr. Chairman, to grant the additional 60 days until February 17th, 2024.
Second?
Second by Jake. That's the Wood Partners. And any discussion by the board?
No, I would just mention that it does look from what's in front of us that they are moving forward, so, you know, they are making progress, so I would support this extension.
Yeah, some progress comes slowly. That's okay. No further. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, chair was affirmative, and the extension request has been granted to Wood Partners to the 17th of February of 2024. And Jake has done a little bit of research for us, and this kind of refers to RSA 91A, which is for the public to be able to view what boards, committees, and so forth do in the state of New Hampshire. Basically, the way it's set up, at a meeting, public has a right to be present and has a right to take notes, has a right to videotape and everything, but it does not give them a right to speak. And when they can't speak is during public hearing and also public comment. But the planning board, like the zoning board of adjustment, and to some extent, the Heritage Commission are land use boards, and they come under a specific criteria of RSA 673:14, which follows the juror standard. So I'll let you take it away there, Jake.
All right. So, I want to talk a little bit about a few issues we've had at past couple meetings. Work sessions are a very common item at planning board meetings. We use these work sessions as an opportunity to discuss items and form a consensus on what to present to the public. During work sessions, the chairman of the board does not accept public comment. However, there will be a time to comment when that item being discussed at the work session is brought forward, properly noticed, and turned into a public hearing. A public hearing allows members of the public to come forward and comment on whatever item that we may be hearing on. In brief, our public hearing goes as followed. Presentation from the board, staff input from the members of the board, and then last but not least, public comment. Examples of these most recent work sessions that have drawn attention from a few members of the public are the September 13th CIP work session, as well as the November 8th zoning amendment work session. At both meetings, members of the public had asked to speak. During the September 13th meeting, a few of the members of the public had asked to speak. The chair decided he would allow it, but after the presentation and the board's input. Allowing them to speak at that time follows the same order in which we would do it a public hearing. Public comment being last at the end of that presentation. A member of the public began to speak while sitting in their chair. After some time, I had asked the chair if she was to continue to speak, would they please come to the mic? At that time, they decided they were all set and no longer wanted to speak. One other member of the public had waited until the end of the presentation, and the chair had allowed him to speak, just as he would have at a public hearing. even though traditionally the chair does not allow comment at public sessions. There was a public hearing on the CIP there was a public hearing for the CIP, which was our work session, the following meeting on October 4th. As a reminder from my earlier statement, the public hearing is the time where the public can comment and voice their opinion on an item in front of the board. In this case, it was about the CIP. During the public hearing, there was one member of the public who commented, the chairman of the council. No other members of the public that were present at the September 13th meeting were present to speak on October 4th. I have to ask myself, if they wanted to speak so badly during the work session, why did they not stay until the conclusion of the presentation? More importantly, why didn't they show up to the public hearing? The November 8th meeting brought a similar situation to a work session with regards to a zoning amendment. A member of the public had asked to talk on the zoning amendment. I suggested to the chair that we follow what he has done in the past, which was to not allow public comment given the difficulties we had on the meeting of the 13th. There will be a public hearing on those proposed amendments. At that time, members of the public will have the ability to speak and heard by the board. I believe that public hearing is tonight, correct?
Correct.
In recent months, I have suggested that we adjust the planning board rules of procedure to reflect how the chair runs work sessions. These adjustments have yet to be made. After last meeting, I took some time to make potential amendments to our rules of procedures. Some of these amendments reflect procedures for work sessions, conceptual discussions, and adding a section of public comment to planning board meetings. I've forwarded my edits, as you all know, to the members of the board, so we can hopefully review them next week and start to look at changing some of our amendments. Kelly has a copy of those amendments, so I'm sure if there's anybody in the public that would like to see what my recommended amendments are, she'd be more than happy to give you a copy. But, you know, that's really what I have to say about it right now. I think that a lot of the edits I've made are just to reinforce how we've had a meeting, in hopes that we can get through this issue we're having with public comment at a time where it's not warranted. I know some people are having trouble understanding that, but there's a reason for the process. And I look forward to talking about it a little bit more next week once the board has had a chance to review all my edits, because I know I sent them a little later this afternoon. Any questions?
Well, I think you said it quite well. I guess the RSA 673:14 basically says that a member of a land use board, most of our function is quasi judicial. So we have to sit as a judge and jury. So therefore, we have to be careful of information that gets filtered to us, because if we end up being accused of being biased, that means a member has to recuse themselves. If they don't, that could result in the town being taken to court. So people's property is a very precious thing to them, and they really guard, and I'm talking about their wealth, which is both land, investments, and everything. That's how the state of New Hampshire looks at property. And their property is involved. We deal with the property every single meeting. And people look at that very closely, and they get very upset if something is being, their rights are being abridged due to their property. So what this really says that any question in which a board is to decide, this is a land use board in a judicial capacity, if that member has a direct personal or pecuniary interest in the outcome which differs from the interest of other citizens, or if that member would be disqualified for any cause to act as a juror upon a trial of the same matter in any action of law. So basically, we act as a jury. So you know what the juror standard is. And if anyone is interested, I can refer you to RSA 500-A, and it explains jurors and examinations, and there's reasons there. And our attorney has advised this board that is exactly true. There's case law that supports it also. So that's why we don't have public comment.
And I'd just like to add, Mr. Chair, that, the reason we don't have public comment at work sessions are, to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. Our work session is a time where we come forward, the board or staff presents us something that we decide whether we want to have a public hearing or not. You know, if it's an item that directly impacts your property, how would you feel if people were commenting about that and you were never notified about it? So it gives us the ability to have the proper notification process to make sure that everybody has a chance to comment on it at the appropriate time. So we do allow public comment in a process, and that process is used to protect everybody, not just the people that were at a meeting one night. You folks were probably noticed, that's why you're here. It's only the fair way to do it for everybody. And
So I think this, if I may, Mr. Chair, I think this might be a good time to while we're breathing fresh air, to say that our work sessions are put together because just like the town council, we're not allowed to talk to each other or group email or
first
whatever.
time we all get to hear it.
The only chance we get is when we're here, when it's been noticed and whatever, that we can talk about issues, items, or land, land use issues or cases or whatever. And so that work session needs to stay, my opinion, one person's opinion, needs to stay sacred, so that the work can get done, because it's the only chance that we have in the course of our twice-a-month meetings. Very similar to what the town council encounters, because they're a 5-person board, they can't have 3 people standing in a room at the same time, and all kinds of crazy rules. So anyway, thank you. I thought it would be a good time to put that out there.
And the other thing too to note is not everything in a workshop is ever going to come before the public. So,
And I've had experience, this is a long time ago, the instance where the planning board was having a workshop session, they're talking about a piece of property that the landowner had no idea was being talked about, and was very incensed because 3 people were deciding what to use his property with. So that prompted really a good problem for the town. It took a while to resolve. It wasn't quite a court issue, but it was settled. So we don't need to get into arguments like that. But with a public hearing, all the abutters are noticed by certified mail. And also, there's an official warning 10 days before the public hearing, where the public is warned about the meeting so that everyone knows. And that's fairness. That's also backed up by case law. So enough of this. We need a meeting to get to, and we'll go to new plans, and we're going to do the continuances, and then we'll get to the rest of the business. So a public hearing on an application for a formal review of a subdivision plan to subdivide tax map 10, lot 41, into 2 lots, Pillsbury Road, Michaels Way, and Woodmont Avenue. Tax map 10, lot 41, zone commercial 1, and performance unit district, Woodmont Commons, planned unit development. Pillsbury Development LLC is the owner, and Nickerson Design is the applicant. And there was a snafu in regards to noticing, so this is being continued until the 11th of...
13th.
13th, Mr. Chair.
13th. I'm looking at November still, so this...
Mr. Chair, I'd like
You
to
may-
continue this public hearing to the 13th of December.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion to have a second. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, chair is affirmative. And the only official public announcement on this continuance is the public hearing for an application for a formal review of a subdivision plan to subdivide tax map 10, lot 41 into 2 lots, Pillsbury Road, Michaels Way, and Woodmont Avenue, tax map 10, lot 41, zone commercial 1 and PUD, Woodmont Commons planned unit development, Pillsbury Realty LLC, the owner, and Nickerson Design as applicant, is continued to the 13th of December at 7 p.m. right here. This is your only official public notice. Next we have is a public hearing on an application for a formal review of a site plan to construct a 30,000 square foot, 2-story medical office building, Pillsbury Road, Michaels Way, and Woodmont Avenue. tax map 10, lot 41, zone commercial 1, and PUD, Woodmont Commons Plan Unit Development, Pillsbury Realty LLC is the owner, and Nickerson Designs LLC. And because of a mix-up with noticing, the continuance of this is until December 13th.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Abstentions, chair votes affirmative. And the public hearing on an application for formal review of a site plan to construct a 30,000 square foot, two-story office medical building, Pillsbury Road, Michaels Way and Woodmont Avenue, tax map 10, lot 41, zone commercial 1, and PUD, Woodmont Commons Plan Unit Development. Pillsbury Realty Development LLC is the owner, and Nickerson Designs LLC is the applicant, is continued until the 13th of December, 2023, at 7 PM right here. This is your only official public notice.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Oh, no, we'll get to the next one here.
Oh. Oh, sorry. I'm one ahead of you.
That was
just the-
that was
just
the
you reading
disclaimer
it
about the
again.
last
Ready for the next one, Jake? That's good. Next, we have the public hearing on an application for formal review of a subdivision and lot consolidation plan for 71 Perkins Road, tax map 15, lot 51, zone mixed-use commercial, 171 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 59, zoned mixed-use commercial, 179 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60, zone mixed-use commercial, 175 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60-2, zoned mixed-use commercial, and 191 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 64, zoned multi-use, or mixed-use commercial. Jean Gagnon is the owner and the applicant, and this is being continued until the 13th of December. So I need a motion and a second.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, motion by Jake, second by Al. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, motion carries. So, the public hearing on an application for a formal review of a subdivision and lot consolidation plan for 71 Perkins Road, tax map 15, lot 51, zone mixed-use commercial, 171 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 59, zone mixed-use commercial, 179 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60, zone mixed-use commercial, 175 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed-use commercial, and 191 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 64, zone mixed-use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner, and the applicant has been continued to the 13th of December, 2023, at 7 PM right here. And this is your only official public notice. Next, we have the public hearing on an application for a formal review of a site plan for 130 townhouses and associated site improvements at 71 Perkins Road, tax map 15, lot 51, zoned, initials MUC, mixed-use commercial, 171 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 59, zone mixed-use commercial, 179 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60, zone mixed-use commercial, 175 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed-use commercial, and 191 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 64, zone mixed-use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner and the applicant, and that will be also continued to the 13th of December, 2023.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion second by Al. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, and chair votes affirmative. And a public hearing on an application for a formal review of a site plan for 130 townhouses and associated site improvements at 71 Perkins Road, tax map 15, lot 51, zone mixed-use commercial, 171 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 59, zone mixed-use commercial, 179 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60, zone mixed-use commercial, 175 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed-use commercial, and 191 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 64, zone mixed-use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner and the applicant. That has been continued to December 13th, 2023 at 7 PM right here. And this is your only official public announcement.
Well done, Art.
You got
Two
two
more.
more.
Yeah, 2 more to go. I haven't had anything like this before. This is the first in my
I'll
many
just
years
add,
here.
Mr. Chair, while you're taking a little break, that
Okay.
we did renotice all of the abutters for
Yeah.
all of these.
Yes,
so we're clear.
it was a monumental effort, but
I would
we got,
certainly like to commend Alicia, Ben, and Kelly on their efforts for this. It was brought up, and I let them know the Monday after Thanksgiving, and by Monday afternoon, notifications were out, and we were headed in the right direction, so thank you guys very much.
yep, I was in the afternoon and things were busy, so I stayed out of the way. Okay, next, we have a public hearing on an application for a conditional use permit to allow 10,500 square feet of wetland impact. Tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed-use commercial. John Gagnon, the owner, and Bill Grenier is the applicant. And that is continued to the 13th of December, 2023. Do you have a motion?
Second, excuse me. Jeez.
You-
We're leaving too many of these. So moved, sir.
Second.
We got motion by Jake, second by Al. We gotta break these things up a little bit so we don't get lulled into. Any discussion on Jake's motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, chair votes affirmative. Motion carries, and the public hearing on an application for a conditional use permit to allow 10,500 square feet of wetland impact. Tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed-use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner, and Bill Grina is the applicant. And that has been continued to December 13th, 2023 at 7 PM right here. This is your only official public announcement. And the last one is a public hearing on an application for a formal review of a site plan and conditional use permit to construct 12,000 square foot medical building and 3,000 square foot bank and associated site improvements. Tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner and Bill Grina is the applicant. And that is continued also to the 13th of December.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
One last time.
Motion by Jake, second by Al for continuance. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, chair votes affirmative. Motion carries. And the public hearing on an application for a formal review of a site plan and conditional use permit to construct a 12,000 square foot medical building and a 3,000 square foot bank and associated site improvements. Tax map 15, lot 60-2, zone mixed use commercial. John Gagnon is the owner and Bill Grina is the applicant. That has been continued December 13th, 2023 at 7 PM right here. Those are all your official public announcements for the continuances. And we have one that we are going to have a public hearing. This is the public hearing on an application for a formal review of site plan amendment to reflect the additional use of preschool at the Orchard Christian Fellowship property at 136 Pillsbury Road, tax map 6, lot 18-2, zone agricultural residential 1. Orchard Christian Fellowship is the applicant and the owner. And the first thing we do is determine completeness of the plan.
There are no outstanding items.
Okay,
Motion to accept the application is complete.
motion by Al, second by Jake. Any discussion on completeness? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions, shows affirmative. And this starts the public hearing and also the 65-day timeframe in which this board has to render a decision.
Art, I'm gonna
So-
step down from this.
Okay,
I'm curator of the Historical Society next door, and
so Ann's technically in a butter, I guess. It's, so let the record show that Ann Champa has stepped down. And what I'll do is I'll appoint Jason to vote for Ann for this. So
Thank you.
when Ann comes back, you're back to a good old alternate.
I'm back on the bench.
And who's doing the presentation? Yeah. Yeah, yes, you can sit. I guess there's not one at the, but just identify yourselves for our records, please.
My name is Ian McGregor. I'm a project engineer with North Point Engineering. And then we have, I think, several representatives from Orchard Christian here tonight. If you'd care to introduce yourselves.
Why don't you use the mic, maybe you can put that microphone up on the podium, that would,
Ken, you're welcome to.
Okay, please. Hi, good evening. I'm Lisa Powers. I work for Orchard Christian Fellowship, and I'm also the director of the preschool.
okay, welcome.
Hello, I'm Andrew Lemieux. I'm an elder of the Orchard and president of the school.
My name is Ken Glazer. I'm the pastor of
Yes.
Orchard Christian Fellowship.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for hearing us tonight, and I'm happy that we're not asking for a continuance.
That's a first. Yes. Most reading I think I've done at a planning board meeting, so,
Yeah.
always first, so.
Yeah, so this is a little background on the property and the church itself. This was originally completed as 2 phases or a master plan it was approved from the site plan in 2012. Then it was, the original sanctuary was constructed not long after. In 2022, we came back and amended the site plan to reflect a change to the initial application approval, which was granted. And since that date and the annex or the addition has been completed, the church has started a preschool as well as is looking to purchase playground equipment as well to be located in the front of the property. So the site plan here in front of you tonight is for approval of the 40 by 40 foot area designated for a playground equipment in front of the church property, as well as the additional use of a preschool on the site as well. I think if you want to speak to the preschool as it is currently existing, I think the school and facility is able to account for 24 students. I don't believe they're at full capacity, but
No, we have a smaller enrollment than that. We have a total of 9 students. They're broken up into 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. The 4-year-olds come 2 days a week, and the 5-year-olds come 3 days a week. It's a morning program from 8:30 to 11, and we do hope that we will have at some point full enrollment. But as we are working through the licensing process with the state, we got into the queue for having people sign up for their kids a little bit later than we had hoped. But the kids that are there love it. It's great. It's been a very good addition to our community.
so with that, we'd be happy to take any questions or clear up anything that needs to be cleared up.
Okay, well, like we have our procedure, we'll go to staff for staff's input, and then to the board for the board's input, and then to the public for the public's input, and then we bring it back to the board for decision-making. And Ben, any comments?
Staff recommends planning board conditionally approve.
Okay, anything to add, Kelly?
We noted just one note on the plan to be updated in relation to the required spaces and a calculation. But aside from that, this is pretty straightforward.
Oh, okay. I'll start with Tony.
Yes, hello. So the state's gonna make you put a fence around that playground, but you've already accounted for that, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm all set as well.
Nope, no questions.
No questions?
Jake?
Mr. Chair, I'm all set, sir.
Okay. Roger?
Looks good to me.
Thank you.
Ted?
One thing I'll have is make sure that the gate has a automatic closing door on the gate for safety for the children.
Thank you. Yes. Yep.
Jason?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Bruce?
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
Okay, the only thing I had was, do you have any bollards between the parking lot and the outdoor, the gym setup?
I don't believe there are any bollards on site currently. It is a vertical granite curb, 7-inch reveal, so that is currently acting as a preventative measure. But I don't believe there's anything in the state regulations that would
No,
require.
there isn't, but probably what my concern is seem to be an increase in frequency of cars running into buildings and stores and everything, and we'd hate to have anything happen to kids out there playing, because you never know, this day and age, a car could go, instead of stopping at the parking space, jump the curb and go right in. So I know like the post office has bollards in front. I think that's more of a federal government regulation for them, but we don't have any, but I know some of the plans that that come through have them because of the owner of the property wants it there. So I think it's, even though we don't require it, I think it's something for you to definitely consider,
Yes, yeah.
just to make sure that car is not going to injure anyone.
Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, because those are our children. We protect them.
Yes. Yeah, they're very precious.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, is that something you'd be looking to make a condition of the approval?
I guess, would you be willing to put them in?
I think that's something, if the client is amenable to it, we'd have no problem being able to add that to the site plan and help them find something that can be aesthetically pleasing to the church as well as the property,
Yes.
as
yes.
opposed to just
Yeah,
a steel post.
Well, you may be able to incorporate in the fence that you're gonna be required to put up anyways. If you do like a wider fence post that would be concrete, that would essentially accomplish the two things on the side that faces the parking lot. Just a thought.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but we can, but make it a condition, to add the condition to the plan for a bollard or something similar for solid protection, so.
Kelly, you wouldn't know by chance, like, there's gotta be a spacing requirement?
Yeah, I think it's 5 feet,
5 feet?
I think.
Because the car's probably 8 feet.
correct.
Okay.
So, did we go through the whole, yeah, you were last.
I gotta go to the public first,
Okay.
Jake.
Yeah.
Anyone from the public, or any butter, have any questions, comments, concerns in regards to the site plan amendment? Ann Chapa.
Ann Champa, speaking for the Londonderry Historical Society. We feel that the Orchard Christian Fellowship has been a great neighbor for the last 11 years, and we welcome the preschool to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I do not see any. We'll bring it back to the board for further discussion or seek conditional approval.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to grant conditional approval of the site plan amendment to reflect the additional use of a preschool at the Orchard Christian Fellowship property, 136 Pillsbury Road, map 6, lot 18-2, zoned AR1. Orchard Christian Fellowship, applicant and owner, in accordance with plans prepared by North Point Engineering LLC, dated February 2022, last revised October 12, 2023, with the precedent conditions to be fulfilled within 120 days of approval and prior to plan signature, and general and subsequent conditions of approval to be fulfilled as noted in the staff recommendation memorandum dated December 6, 2023, and to add to the precedent condition that appropriate bollards or whatever like material and the appropriate spacing according to engineering is installed
Second.
along the parking lot side of the building.
Okay, motion by Jake and a second by Al. Any discussion by the board?
So did you hear that last little rumble?
Just along
along
the
the
parking
parking
side
lot
of the
side.
building, not through
Got it.
all
Thank
four
you.
sides. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. We're all set. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Abstentions? Chair votes affirmative, and you have a conditionally approved amended site plan.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very much.
You're
Thank you.
very, very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to move into other business. We have a public hearing on amendments to the Londonderry zoning ordinance relating to the use table, floodplain overlay district. The following sections are proposed to be amended. Section 4.1.2, use table 4-1, Londonderry zoning ordinance use table. Section 4.1.3, table 4-2, Gateway Business District services use table. And section 4.6.3, the floodplain overlay district. And the full text on the proposed amendments were able to be viewed in the Planning and Economic Development Department and the Town Clerk's Office. So we will go to staff for a presentation on these. Once we're through, we'll go to the board for input, and then we'll go to the public for input.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as the board will recall, we had a workshop meeting on this on November 8th of this year, proposing the amendments to section 4.1.2, which is the use table, as well as the Gateway Business District Services table. And this first amendment that I'll discuss is to add hospital as a permitted use by right to the Gateway Business District. Currently, the zoning ordinance provides a definition for hospital. However, we do not have anywhere in our use table the allowance for it. We don't designate where it's permitted. So staff's recommendation is to add it to the Gateway Business District. And up on your screen, I have what that would look like in terms of the edit or amendment to the ordinance itself.
Could you, I think this is for the public use, is the definition of a hospital that we have.
Sure, I'll pull it up.
You're quicker at this than I am, Kelly.
So the definition of a hospital per the London zoning ordinance is any institution, including a sanitarium, which maintains and operates facilities for overnight care and treatment of 2 or more non-related persons as patients suffering mental or physical ailments, but not including any dispensary or first aid treatment facilities maintained by a commercial or industrial plant, educational institution, convent or nursing home, as previously defined.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
A quick question too, at some point in time, Kelly, could you pull up a zoning map and show everybody where the Gateway Business District is? So everybody knows specifically the area we're talking
So
about.
primarily, well, the Gateway Business District is located along Pettingill Road.
Just south of the Boston-Manchester Regional Airport.
So it's the brownish area. This is Pettingill. Right here.
And that would be the only area impacted by this change, correct?
That's correct.
I mean, it's been something probably troublesome anyway, having a definition for it, but no allowed not in any area. That's kind of ripe for litigation. I think any up-and-coming lawyer would like to tackle that.
We've had a number of potential users come forward and discuss with staff very preliminarily, and we found that we don't have a place to direct them currently.
Okay, okay. I know there's all sorts of rumors floating around town about what it is, but we've had no concrete plans, nothing concrete on what is going to go there. I think staff has have some knowledge, but the board has not. The only thing I know is what is regarded as hearsay, what's floating around with the public and on social media. So anything else to add? Ben, you're all set?
I'll just, to the point you just raised, the planning department does not have any application for a hospital at this time.
Yes. Okay, and then let's see, The floodplain, I think we're gonna take these together.
Want me to cover floodplain?
The three, yes, yeah, the three of them
Do you wanna
together.
do them all at once, Mr. Chair, or do you wanna go to, the public for each one and make a decision on each one? I think would probably be,
They can speak to the one they wanna speak to anyway.
I'd certainly wanna make the motions on them separately.
Yes, yeah, motions have to be separate.
Floodplain?
Pardon?
Floodplain?
Floodplain, yes.
So the Office of Planning and Development, which is within the state office, the BEA, Economic Affairs, conducted a compliance review recently of floodplain management regulations all across the state, which of course includes Londonderry. And that is to ensure that the town remains compliant with the requirements of the FEMA National Flood Insurance Program. So in response to that compliance review, amendments were prepared to the floodplain overlay district so that we can maintain our compliance with the NFIP. And essentially what that means is that if we remain compliant, then residents who are required to hold flood insurance, or if they have flood insurance, can continue to do so through the National Flood Insurance Program.
Yes, I know this is, well, every so often when the federal government updates its flood, it's passed along to the state, and the state passes it along to the communities, and we do adopt. That's-
Typically, this is done prior to a new map adoption, the FEMA maps, that is. So I would anticipate in a new county map or the FEMA floodplain areas
Yes.
being brought forward soon.
Yeah. We keep up to date with the latest in flooding. Okay, I'll go through the board. Just let the record show that Ann Chapa is back on the board, and Jason is not voting on this one. So I'll start with Ann.
I just have a question about, let's see, how can I find where this is now? On substantial improvement, I don't know if you can find that. I'm looking about, geez, it's, starts the page with mean sea level.
It's on page 65.
What page you on it?
Number 65.
Okay, it says substantial improvement means any reconstruction, rehabilitation, addition, or other improvement of a structure, the cost of which equals or exceeds 50% of the market value of the structure before the start of construction of the improvement. This term includes structures which have incurred substantial damage regardless of the actual repair work performed. The term does not, however, include either. It goes on. The market value, how is that determined?
There is a formula that is defined through the state NFIP office has it, but it's essentially the assessed value plus any additional factors.
Okay, I was wondering if they used the town's assessed value of it, okay?
That's part of the equation, yes.
So that assessment could have been just a slightly different point in time than the point they're describing, though. If there's any valuation, we reevaluate we reassess buildings every 2 years now. So this one, that's kind of a wide swing. But that's the way they do it?
That is the way they do it. And this, again, is specific to properties, or I should say structures within the regulatory floodplain, which
Okay.
are the special flood hazard areas, and those are defined on the FEMA flood maps. So this isn't every single property in town, this is
Right.
specifically those properties.
Thanks. I didn't mean a wide, 2 years isn't wide in the scope of things, but if it's a fluctuating market and, okay, thank you very much.
All set in?
Yes, I am, thank you.
Okay, good. Tony?
So these changes are to help the current landowners in Londonderry in the event of a loss, because our regs are gonna be in compliance with what FEMA needs or other federal organizations need.
Correct. These regulations are the minimum standards as cited in the Code of Federal Regulations. If we do not have the minimum standards in our local ordinance, then we cannot provide flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program to residents that have to maintain flood insurance. And what that means is they need to then seek a private insurer, which is extremely costly.
Thank you. I'm all set.
Jeff?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
Roger?
Thank you, I'm all set.
Okay. Ted?
No questions.
Jason?
No questions, thank you.
Bruce?
If we make the amendment for hospital, that's the only place in town that could have a hospital facility as defined built?
Correct.
So be no other place that one could be constructed?
If they wanted to, if a hospital user wanted to do a hospital use outside of the Gateway Business District, they would need to go through the variance process.
Probably the only exception to that is
Does that also
The
include
exception of the
PUD?
PUD.
yeah, the PUD.
So if we make this change, PUD unaffected, still falls under PUD, this would just apply to the Gateway District.
Correct.
That's all, Mr. Chair, thank you.
So there's really two locations where it could be. Okay. Anyone from the public have any questions, comments, and concerns in regards to these three zoning amendments?
Ray Breslin, 3 Gary Drive.
Welcome, Ray.
I have a few questions. First off, what is the description of Gateway Business District?
I think Kelly can find that. That's kind of I know it's mixed use. It started off as a flexible industrial zone, and then probably in the vicinity of 20 or more years ago, the planning board was debating whether to do it, and it had probably about a year's worth of good discussion with the King family and Nash and Tamposi about use of their properties. So what it evolved into was the Gateway Business District, which we also took a look at the 2003 design charrette that covered that whole area south of the airport. And what it provided for was an industrial situation, manufacturing, but also services to people that work in that area, as in banking, restaurants to eat and so forth. So people could work in that area. But it's more of the industrial, heavy-duty use.
I guess what I'm suggesting is, should there not be a description of that?
There is a description of that. It's in our zoning.
But I have the Gateway Business District up on the screen. It states the Gateway Business District is intended to allow for the development of gateways to the town of Londonderry, centers of commerce, and employment centers for the southern New Hampshire region.
So it is different than an industrial
Yes,
zoned area?
It has a flexibility to it, so you could have other uses in there besides strictly industrial. That's what the board wanted at the time.
So you could have
Was-
restaurants and housing?
You can have that, even though there aren't any there now. It probably would be easier for the people that work there instead of, I think it would reduce some of the traffic.
Yeah, I mean, there has been discussion about up to the airport having further housing. Is that
That's-
still a thought?
That's
No,
not in this district.
It's not in the district.
It's not in the,
It's not in the Gateway Business District.
Yes, because we looked at the experience that Manchester had that built housing around the airport, and they have a lot of complaints from those people about aircraft noise. So we wanted, in Londonderry, to to put our heavy usage in that area and keep the residences out of it, even though it would be, I know in the design charrette back in 2003, it provided for
Right.
some living spaces, but it's not a practical thing, because if there was, those people would certainly complain about the noise.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd just like to clarify is these two are kind of tagged together, right? In other words, the zoning change with the wetland.
No, they are not tied together. We put them together because they need to be, wetland needs to be amended, but also we need to amend the zoning. So it's actually two different things here, Ray.
Should they not be separate?
They are separate. There'll be a separate motion on them, but public hearing, we're taking input from all three of them. So you can comment on each one as you would like.
Okay.
You can give us some advice, too.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused, and I hope you can clear it up. So we're talking about a hospital in the Gateway Business District, and why then does it affect the wetland or the floodplain?
There's no connection there.
Well,
Yeah.
No connection.
There's
I think
no
they should be separate.
There's no connection between the two. There's just
What?
two changes, one in the floodplain overlay district and one in the Gateway Business District that we're hearing at the same time. They're gonna be voted on separately, because they are two separate items.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that for me. Is there not also a 500-year floodplain?
There is.
There is.
Should that not be something we're concerned with?
It's not part of it's not part of the regulatory floodplain area.
I'm suggesting perhaps maybe it should be. Maybe we're getting off track here, but,
That'd be a federal government decision, Ray.
well, that's what, we follow the federal government and the state.
Yeah.
And-
They have the experts between FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, and we're having a lot of impact from weather and floods that we never had before.
We certainly are. That's
And
why
so
we're getting more updates because of this.
I'm suggesting maybe we should look at that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we'll keep our federal officials on their toes.
Well, yeah, have the conversation, for sure.
Yes.
Army Corps of Engineers be a good place to start, I would suggest.
Oh, yes, they're involved with a lot, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Anyone else? And I'll need your name and address, please.
My name is Robin Stewart. I live at 522 Mammoth Road, Old Mammoth. So I know you don't have a plan for a hospital yet because you can't put a plan in until you all approve that hospital has a, whatever is allowed in this area. And I just wonder, when you do that, the can of worms that you're opening, because the traffic that's involved with something like that. I live at Old Mammoth. Grenier Field is a disaster as it is now. We're already having so many problems with our road and traffic and cut through. You add a hospital there where you have to have patients and employees and everything that goes along with that. And I'm not sure how any of this works. I've never been to a planning board meeting before, just so you know. But
Oh, welcome.
thanks. But it seems to me that every time you guys make a decision, it's us that pays the impact on it. And this, our little village can't take much more. And Pettingill's right on the other side of that. It's, you go to the end of the rail trail and you're right there. We can't take much more traffic. And if you keep approving all these things, then we're paying this impact for all of your decisions. And my thought is maybe somebody should take a breath and stop for a minute and think about what they're doing to the town and to us as people who live in this town. I've lived here since 1978, quite a bit. And I understand there's changes and you expect changes, but when everything just gets approved and then nobody can figure out what to do with it all, just like Perkins Road. I know that's not up to debate, but you put another 132 houses there. Can you imagine what exit 5 is going to be like? It's not easy now getting off it or getting on it during any time of the day, let alone traffic times. Like, these things don't seem to me to be thought through by anybody. And once you guys approve the word hospital, that sets us up for just a disaster. It's increased police, it's increased ambulances, fire department, traffic, water, everything that affects all of us, but the traffic in particular in that area, and the accidents on Page and Grenier, or Page and Grenier and Old Mammoth is just, I don't know whether it's, all this stuff goes in front of the traffic committee before you guys decide to say yes to everything. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but
But I know if, and when we do get I'm sure there'll probably be a site plan coming at some point in the future.
clearly, yeah.
Site plan goes through the process you're seeing here. There's the presentation of the board's input, and the public input. It's a public hearing. And there's a lot of, and I'm sure anything that happens there, traffic engineers are involved, and it's, the board puts them through a rigorous process because of traffic impacts. That's probably the biggest impact we have in town. And, I mean, we're growing. I think Londonderry, I wish it wasn't as popular as it is, because it'd make some of our lives easier.
Sure, but we don't need to say yes to everything. We don't need to give everybody variances. Everybody has the right to do with what they want on their property, and I get that. And, but we don't have to say yes to everything. There's nothing in this town that says, yes, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter about anyone else. We've taken 11 years about the traffic on Old Mammoth. The town council is the first town council who've actually recognized this as an issue and is now miraculously doing something about it. Thank them. But it took us 11 years. So to say that it goes through a traffic committee, once you guys say yes, it might. But once the problem's there, how long does it take to fix the problem? Is I guess my point.
Yes. I think we all understand, but we have our regulations, we have the state statutes, we have reams of case law that a person's property.
Does it have to say hospital? Is there anything that says
State of
we
New
have to?
Hampshire is very strong on protecting personal property.
Mhm.
So that's what we have to deal with. It'll take some long-range planning, and I think in a year or two, we'll be redoing our master plan. That'll be a good opportunity for,
Well, you should, because when you look at what Londonderry says in your master plan, it's nothing like it is now. Nothing. Even the pictures aren't even what Londonderry is any longer.
that's why we want to do an update.
Probably a good idea.
Because after 10 years, times change. Jason?
I live on the trucking raceway that is Hall Road. So
Oh,
I
well, so you're familiar.
I understand, so I can empathize with what you're saying.
I just think that that's a village, that's the old part of town, and we live in houses as they do on Hall Road. The houses are close to the road. We don't have the availability of having an acre in front of our house before you get to our doorway when there's an accident or anything else that happens. And so when everybody keeps dumping things at the north end, and people don't want to keep going on Rockingham Road because the light now, and it's just a pain in the neck, too much traffic, so they just come right through. They go down Hall Road and hit High Range. It's all just whatever we can do the fastest. But when we keep saying yes to everything, and I understand that there's laws, but I don't think that yes is always the answer. Sometimes it's we need to take a breath and we'll think about it. It doesn't have to be made right this minute.
Yep.
That's all.
All right,
Tony?
thank you. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but I just wanted to go through the list of things that are currently permitted in the zone, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not this board decides to put hospital in that zone, you can currently have live-work units there.
Have what? I'm sorry.
Live-work units. You can have public facilities any kind of public facility, public utilities, cultural uses and performing arts.
Which would be like a stadium?
A
performing arts?
stadium, performing arts center. You can have assembly, testing, repair, and packaging operations up to 250,000 square feet.
Well, they have that.
But more is what I'm saying. There could be more of that. Business center development, a conference convention center. Quite a bit of traffic associated with that. So that's just, I'm not gonna go through, but just to make the point, it just so happens that there's some vacant land up there now, but it still could be densely used. Lots of traffic, whatever. Understand that any proposal that comes to this board has to go through the planning department, which requires traffic studies. And some of those traffic studies, most of them are very, very comprehensive and very expensive for the exact reason that you're talking about. And so the process is the process, but whether or not this board decides to put hospital in that zone or not really is not going to affect much more of what could possibly be put in that zone, or what could be built in that zone. So I know that doesn't help you, but.
No, but I just want you to think about this one thing,
Sure.
because, of course, there's been all this on social media and throughout the town, the talk of it being a psych and hospital. So, and I forget how many beds I read, but even if it were close to New Hampshire Hospital has, I think, I want to say 160 beds is the hospital, my understanding, would not have that many, but close. New Hampshire Hospital has 3,000 to 4,000 people every day come in and out of that place between patients and workers and visitors. Where would we put anything close to that in traffic? And our nice little village, which should have been able to stay somewhat of a nice little village.
Yeah, well, and I understand, I really do understand. I don't live on that road, so I can understand, but I don't have to deal with it, unfortunately. But I will say that the town council, and I was at that meeting, is addressing.
Absolutely, and I'm so appreciative for what they're doing.
Yeah, and is doing the best that they can with what they have to work with right now. And based on what I saw at that meeting, I think your problems are going to be addressed as much as.
But not if you keep dumping more.
As much as can be. Well, that remains to be seen, because we don't know exactly what they're going to approve, what the council's going to approve or not approve. I think we all could be very surprised at how much they can mitigate that traffic, but we don't know until it happens. But I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you taking the time to come out to speak before us. Any information that we get certainly helps us in trying to make a decision and vote, and then we see what happens. So I can't speak to anything that you see on social media. I don't know where that's coming from or how that's coming from, but.
I don't either, but
But at any rate, that is what it is, and we'll just have to wait and see. But thank you for entertaining my thoughts.
all right, thank you for listening, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Because all the planning board function on this is to make a recommendation to the town council. Town council will adopt it. They've already had their first public reading, which is to just introduce it. And then the second reading will be a public hearing. So town council will have a public hearing on this. They're the ones that make the decisions. Anyone else? Ray, you're the active one tonight. You got anything new?
Yeah, regional impact.
That would be determined once a plan comes to.
Yes, once we have the plan on hand.
Yeah.
Well,
Staff does the the calculation. And,
should this not be something we think about, though?
Yeah, it might be. If it's determined to be of regional impact, it goes to the planning commissions and the surrounding towns of what's happening there. And then that input is solicited from them.
Are we suggesting that this hospital would be on Rockingham Road? Do we have any idea where it would be? We'd have no idea?
Hold on.
We have
So-
no idea.
Can I
just-
speak to the regional impact?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So regional impact is determined once an application is actually received. Similar to the New Balance project, staff recommended that that project was of regional impact. We went through the process because of the significance of the project, traffic, and proximity to other municipal boundaries such as Manchester. A zoning amendment does not trigger a regional impact determination because it's not a site plan application. Hopefully that clarifies things a bit.
Well, that helps, yeah. But the reason I'm asking that, whether or not it's on Rockingham Road, but we don't know.
Clarification on that?
Sure, go ahead.
So Ray, right now we're looking at adding a hospital zoning to the Gateway Business District. The Gateway Business District is up in that area, call it Pettingill Road. Route 28 is not part of the Gateway Business District.
Okay, well, it's a little hard to tell from that map.
So this map right here, this is the Gateway Business District, okay?
You can come up here, Ray, for a
This
closer
is-
look if you want.
This is,
Yeah, it's up there too.
what's this, the end of High Range Road? So Route 28 is about
Actually, Harvey
way over
Road.
that way. Hardy Road, excuse me.
Harvey.
Harvey.
RV.
Route 28's way over here. The Gateway Business District is from the end of the runway, essentially to the
West.
The boundary.
to the west of Londonderry. There's nowhere near Route 28.
Okay, so that brown area is the only gateway district in the town of Londonderry.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
I think you might be mixing it up with the Route 28 performance overlay that was discussed as well.
Quite probably. You know, I went on the zoning map, and I'm looking at different purple colors that I thought said GB, but maybe I was mistaken.
That's the only one. What
Huh?
you see up,
That's
what
the
you
only
see up
one.
there in brown, tan, whatever color it is the only one.
The
That's
the
the only one in
purple is
town.
industrial.
Okay. I got to put my glasses on next time I look. I thought, sure, one of those purples said GB, but I guess I'm wrong.
Purples look to be Industrial 1 and Industrial 2.
And what are the light colored beige, are those where there are buildings?
Yes.
You're talking about this, Ray?
Yeah,
Those are current
Yeah,
existing
that's,
structures.
That's FedEx,
FedEx.
that's Bellavance Beverage, that's UPS,
UPS.
that's FW Web.
Oh.
That's EFI, that's New Balance.
okay.
So you're talking in the areas where there's already really massive
Yeah,
buildings, and the idea is, right, you have access to Raymond Wazorek, you know,
yeah.
the high, you know,
Yeah,
where you
Route-
can
Route
get to
3 and the
highway.
DW.
Right,
Right,
yeah.
that's why it's kind of like a gateway. You're
Oh, okay.
trying to confine it to one specific area, which is why I asked the question about where else could it possibly be, and that is where else it could be would be in the Woodmont Commons, because it's under PUD, right? So it has a different zoning requirement.
And-
But that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're just talking about our current zoning defines what a hospital is, but then we don't identify any area where one could build such hospital.
Right.
The area that makes the most sense to allow for a hospital to be
Yeah.
built would be the Gateway Business District, where realistically, as the previous speaker spoke about, you need a lot of land in order to accomplish a project of that magnitude.
And there is a lot of land.
You know, most people, when they think of hospital, they're thinking of like Elliott or, you know, CMC.
Right.
Or Southern New Hampshire, right? But it could very well be a smaller building that houses patients that are on overnight, you know.
Would this designation of hospital also include animal hospitals?
No, this would just be for people.
That's a great question. That's a veteran.
Yeah.
I don't think it said anything about people
It
in
does,
there.
I believe it actually does define
It does, right?
animal hospitals as well.
There's an animal hospital in there.
Yeah, well, we've had some
Definitions.
animal hospitals now become urgent care.
We're going
Yeah,
nowhere.
we got a urgent care right on Buttrick Road.
And that's not considered a hospital because they do not have overnight services.
Which
That's
which is a good point. The Elliott
It's a day
the
function.
Elliott building right here on Buttrick Road
That-
does not meet the definition of a hospital. Because it's not a hospital, it's a
It's not overnight.
it's a doctor's office essentially.
Right.
So, you know, the different categories of hospital is variable as well.
Yeah. And just one other thing, oh, it's gone, the map's gone.
There it is.
Pettingill Road, Resorick Drive, whatever it is.
Raymond J.
where-
Vietrotic Drive.
Pardon?
Raymond J. Vietrotic, former
It's the
mayor
Wiz.
of
Call it the Wiz.
Manchester.
Ray Resort.
The bridge. It's the only one around here.
Yeah, however you pronounce that one. I'm wondering where the gravel pit, oh, we're getting off track. Where is the gravel pit that Brady Sullivan dumped all that contamination? That's not in that district, is it?
Some of that, was that where,
I got nothing.
Way over the zoning.
I have no idea.
Huh?
I think I know what you're talking
Oh.
about, right?
We're getting off track, aren't we?
yeah, we're off the track, Ray.
It's-
Well,
It's-
okay.
It's not a busy night right now, so we're letting you talk, otherwise we wouldn't, yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing. You have a lot of decisions to make, a lot of things to think about. And somebody mentioned something about traffic. That is really
Traffic is
important.
the,
But where you're talking about there on, how do you pronounce that again?
Ray Resort.
Ray Resorick, that's a
RJW.
pretty big road that could handle quite a bit of traffic without impacting the village of North Londonderry.
And that would also be a consideration for the board as to if a plan, big if, right? If a plan for a hospital-type facility was to come before the board,
Right.
it would have to fit in the right land, at the right spot, meet the right conditions, have the
Traffic.
right studies, right? It's not just a hospital would appear in front of us tomorrow and would be built 365 days from, you know,
Oh, it's a long process, for sure.
long process,
Yeah.
and there would be a
It's
lot
a
of studying done.
process.
Speaking of process, I'm going to cut this short.
Okay, well, we want to educate you, Ray.
We can all be educated.
That's true, very true.
We've talked a lot about potential hospitals. I'd like to just remind us that we are talking just about the zoning amendment itself. And that any facility that is, if the zoning amendment passes, any facility that could go into this hospital use is gonna go through an entire design review process, traffic study, and come before us to make a decision on it. And that this is just on the zoning of the piece of land. And this is also a recommendation to the council.
That is correct, Jake.
Mr. Chair, could staff speak to how we arrived at the Gateway District for this zoning amendment?
I don't know if you can add anything to that. I know there's a long history that got to the Gateway Business District, but is
Sure,
basically
so I-
designed to be flexible.
That's exactly right, Mr. Chair, and I went back to the 2013 master plan, which identifies this Gateway Business District area as a special district, the Industrial Village Special District. And it states the Industrial Village Special District represents the concept for self-sustaining industrial village south of the airport near Pettingill Road. The center would promote industrial office and retail development, acting as sustainable, closed-loop eco-village where businesses feed each other for productivity. I also looked at the other uses within the Gateway Business District. The district already allows for medical offices, professional offices, which are as close as we have to a hospital-type use. I also thought about where, in terms of traffic, would it make sense to locate a potential large user such as a hospital? And the professional opinion was Gateway Business District makes the most sense.
Excellent.
Just,
Thank you.
just to clarify that, so the way it stands today, theoretically, the Elliott Urgent Care that's over here could be inside of the Gateway Business District?
Correct.
Thank you.
It's in a C3, Buttrick.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? I do not see anyone else. We'll bring it back to the board, close the public hearing, and we'll take things separately for motions.
Give me a second here, Mr. Chair.
But actually, the first two, sections 4.1.2, 4.1.3 are really the same, does the same, accomplishes the same thing. Kelly?
What?
You gotta
There's
look
two
again.
sections that are amended for the addition of hospital as a permitted use. It's section 4.1.2, which is the use table, and section 4.1.3, which is the Gateway Business District Services use table.
Okay, so we should take those separate for motions.
Up to you.
Okay. We could take them together.
To me,
Can't really have one without the other.
yeah, you can't have one, I can see having the floodplain separate from
Yeah.
these two, but
Why don't we keep them all separate?
would we be
Separate,
comfortable
keep 'em
as a-
separate.
keep them separate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. It's just another vote.
So, let me think here. If I understood that right, we'd make a motion to recommend to the town council, section 4.1.2. Take a
Which is
second.
use table 4-1.
For use table 4-1.
That's it.
Section 4.1.2, use table 4-1, the addition of hospital
There
to,
we go. Thanks, Kelly.
by right, permitted by right to the Gateway Business District.
Perfect.
That sounds good.
Take a second.
Second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Jake, second by Lynn for section 4.1.2, use table 4.4-1, Londonderry zoning ordinance use table, and that is the addition of the hospital. Any discussion by the board or further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Abstentions, chair is affirmative.
Abstain, reserve my vote for the town
You're-
council.
Okay, and let the record show Ted as abstaining because he's going to have to address this issue on the town council. So, motion carries. It goes to the town council for their disposition of it.
So Kelly, I might need your help to finish this one off
Okay.
for me, but I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the council, section 4.1.3, table 4-2 of the Gateway Business District Services use table.
To add hospital
To
as a
add,
permitted use.
to add hospital as a permitted use. Thank you.
By right.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Jake, second by Bruce.
Tony, did you want to add something to that?
By right, as permitted use by right.
Yeah,
By right is important.
yep,
I'm
yes,
fine with that.
yep, that makes it work. Okay, any further discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Abstentions?
Abstain.
And the record show that Ted has abstained, and chair votes affirmative, and motion carries. That will go to the town council for their education. Okay, next we have section 4.6.3, the floodplain overlay district.
Mr. Chair, I'd like make a motion to recommend to the town council the amendments to section 4.6.3 of the floodplain overlay district.
Okay, motion by Jake,
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
second by Lynn. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Abstentions?
Abstain.
And Ted abstains on this also. Chair votes affirmative, and motion carries. And section 4.6.3 floodplain overlay district goes to the town council. For their disapproval or approval. Okay, any other business for the board? But no one has any, I'll take
So
a mo-
I would like to announce that I have retired from the real estate business, and I am no longer associated with any broker, business, company, or any such thing. So I just wanted to let the board know that, so that when you see me not stepping down, maybe sometimes you won't be surprised. It's because I'm retired from that business, so.
We no longer have any ties.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
A motion to adjourn. Do I have a Second. Second by Lynn. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, folks.